What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Travel Adventures with Eric B. I'm Eric B, and today I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm going to take a little visit to the National Museum of Funeral History. Let's get the adventure started. Let's go. Welcome to Travel Adventures with Eric B. I'm Eric B. If you're new here, I offer travel advice. I am a solo traveler, and I do vlogs to help you travel better and more efficiently. Welcome to the Museum of Funeral History, located in northern Houston, Texas. This is the largest museum of its kind. This museum displays the history of embalming, cremation, casket history, as well as historical hearses from other centuries. This museum also features tributes to fallen heroes, such as the ones who died in 9/11, former presidents of the USA, former popes celebrating their lives, and also famous celebrities. As you see, I put a token to enter. It is $15 to enter the museum. It's $15, and you get a little map right here so you can figure out where everything is to go check out. $15 for a ticket. One of the first exhibits you'll see when you enter into the museum is you'll see all of the funeral cars and the hearses. And if you like classical cars, like I do, it's really enjoyable to check out the classic cars and going all the way back to the 20s and the 30s, even going back to the 1800s. Exhibit about Elvis Presley, Charlie Daniels, Bob Hope, wrestling fan, I could appreciate that. Paul Bear. His real name, I think, was Percy Pringle. He actually did pass several years back, 2013, in loving memory. So William Sayal was a great, actually played for the Miami Dolphins at the end of his career, but one of the all-time greats. Dale Earnhardt, very famous driver. Raymond Tisdale, I remember him. I think he played for the Sacramento Kings. This is more pro athletes. Moses Malone was a great player. Jose Fernandez, he died young. He was a really good player for the Miami Marlins. Roger Maris was a legend. Mickey Mantle, New York Yankees legend. John Wooden was definitely a legend. UCLA. Moses Malone again. Arnold Palmer, that's a name that we all know from golf, legend. Jim Henson, of course, is the original voice. Came up with Kermit the Frog and Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson, the legend. Elizabeth Taylor, another legend. The great Kobe Bryant. Brando over there. Embarrassed to say I didn't know that Gene Wilder died. I know his memes are really famous. Some of our horror favorites right there. Paul Walker was a famous actor. Of course, he was in Fast and the Furious. Forgot for a second how I didn't mention that he was in Varsity Blues, and that's actually one of my favorite movies. Blues, that movie's so good. Especially Coach Bud Kilmer.
Tonight, we play bingo. Tonight, we beat bingo.
And that's actually the original cover right there of Marilyn Monroe's tomb. A lot of these things are the original thing. Was the original sex symbol. I don't think anybody didn't love Marilyn Monroe. That's old school. Icon and someone who still inspires so many people, even though she's been gone obviously since 1962. John Wayne, that's an icon right there. It's crazy, he died actually before I was even born. He died in '79, but that's an iconic name right there. Robin Williams. Hiking boots worn in 2006 RV movie. Walt Disney. He died in 1966. He died before most all of these Walt Disney parks even came along, which is crazy. It's at Disneyland Paris celebrating their 30 years. He died well before a lot of these parks got going. Icon Frank Sinatra died in 1998. Too soon. Kind of knew you would see Amy Winehouse here. Jim Morrison. Definitely Kurt Cobain. He was only, wow, 27 years old. And actually it's called Club 27 because all these icons died at 27. There goes Jimi Hendrix right there, 27. Neil Armstrong. So this exhibit here is New Orleans style. If you know how New Orleans works, oftentimes you'll see the second line when someone dies, and you'll see that the procession is basically a celebration of life, of that person's life, as opposed to, you know, completely mourning the death, obviously. Sad, but at the same time uplifting. This is some of the instruments you'll see if you catch one of those processions with the second line and all right here. And there's a little video too to show you a little bit about. '38. So this right here is an example of a workshop with coffins being made. I've reached a section now where you'll see memorabilia of former presidents and former leaders such as First Lady Barbara Bush here. You'll also see things on her husband, George H.W. Bush, as well. This is an actual hearse for President George W. Bush right here. As you can see the presidential seal on the vehicle and all. One exhibit that really caught my eye is this is the original Eternal Flame on JFK's grave right here. This is the actual funeral program for former President Ronald Reagan, and you can look through it all right here. This is the embalming machine used on former President Harry Truman. Comment section what y'all think about cremation. Are y'all into it? Would you be cremated when you die? It's not my thing. I don't want to be cremated. I want to be buried. I don't want to be burned, but let me know what you think about it.
They must be placed in a casket that is suitable for cremation. Cremation caskets are typically made of wood or cardboard. Plastic or metal caskets are not suitable for cremation. Metal and plastic hardware, such as handles, are removed in advance. Family and friends may arrange to view the cremation. This is an opportunity to say one last goodbye to your loved one with a small gathering or ceremony, followed by witnessing the placement of the casket in the cremation chamber. The cremation process. Modern cremators are designed for efficiency and low emissions. They are comprised of a primary and secondary chamber designed to circulate and retain air to minimize particulate and other emissions. The crematory operator places the casket in the primary chamber. The primary and secondary chambers are preheated to between 800 and 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on state law. The casket is ignited either through preheating or ambient heat remaining from prior cases. This image shows airflow from the primary chamber into the secondary chamber. The secondary burner is designed to reignite particulate matter that would otherwise be released through the stack and appear as smoke. The crematory operator monitors the cremator throughout the process. He or she notes temperature fluctuations and fuel usage. A cremation typically takes 2 to 3 hours from preheat through cool down. For pulverization, the resulting consistency is typically like grains of sand. An adult may produce between 5 and 8 pounds of cremated remains. The crematory operator then packages the cremated remains in a plastic bag and places the bag inside an urn. At every point in the process, paperwork is updated and identification is verified. The cremated remains are primarily composed of bone fragments, but there may be metal fragments from medical implants, casket hardware, clothing, or keepsakes that remain after the cremation.
So this is the Pope's room. This entire room is dedicated to popes of the past. I can say I've been in the Vatican City. So this is the international room right here. So this is all dedicated, showing a lot of different international burials and funerals and different customs and things like that. In a minute you'll see coffins of animals and things like that, where people were buried basically in coffins of different animals that they felt, I guess, were their spirit animals or whatever the case may be. This right here is the Mexican section, because you know in Mexico a lot of times they celebrated their person's life in a different manner. So I really enjoyed this section of the museum. this museum is actually huge. It's a pretty big building on the outside when you look at it, but there's more in here than I actually expected. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I ask that you please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell notification so you can know when I have more videos coming out. And as always, remember, live today, grow today, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Peace and travel. Lots and lots of travel.